Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Legal Literacy Series 7. In this episode, I'm going to speak about some two unconnected uh, issues called law and the law. You all must be thinking that how law is so much connected with the law. So I request you to be with me till the end of this presentation, and you will understand that how important to abide by law during this law, especially teenage law. When we talk about the law, this topic has two aspects. One is a psychological one, and I don't consider myself to be a knowledgeable person in that area, so my discussion on that would be bare minimum. But definitely, I'm going to speak about some of the emotional aspect during the law affair. But the other one is the legal aspect, which is I'm going to concentrate on that part of it. But before I start everything, all of you must keep one thing in your mind, that is, the ignorance of law is no excuse. You cannot argue before the court that you were not aware. The law presumes that everyone is aware about the legal system of India. So therefore, that's ruled out. So therefore, this presentation becomes very important because it gives you the actual position of law in a teenage law. The ignorance leads to many problems, and the future can be lost in this whole legal issues. Mainly, the legal issue may lead to an irreversible legal proceedings because of violation of some laws, mainly because of ignorance. Loss of face because of the criminal proceedings. A person may not have a good standing in the society. Loss of confidence. Now, this is a natural consequence of this legal proceeding, and very importantly, irrevocable tag of criminality. It's even though not an act of a criminal, it doesn't involve any guilty mind, but it would attract a criminal law, and you end up being a criminal in the society. All this whole process would have a great impact on the young and formative mind, and it may lead to unwarranted diseases, either mental or physical. So therefore, this may lead to unlimited kind of problems. So as far as law is concerned, two persons attached emotionally, the law absolutely do not have any opinion on this. I don't use the word that the law don't permits it, because that's a wrong way of looking at it. It doesn't have any opinion. It agrees, disagrees, doesn't matter. Emotional attachment is very much part of the process. But emotionally, in the stage one, the love is followed by its beautiful cousins: trust, care, attraction, and you don't want to live, you don't want anybody else but that person. You want to spend maximum time with that person. This is the stage one of emotions which everybody enjoys. This stage one is followed by the stage two of possessiveness, being ignored. Now, this is the natural outcome of having spent time with the other party. So, possessiveness becomes a natural outcome, but the problem is with the stage 3, where jealousy, angry, and disappointment, hurt follows. In all these three stages, you may end up in a litigation process. So, what is important is not these emotions. What is important is the physical conduct attached to these emotions. Now, if you look at the stage 1, the physical conduct attached to the stage 1 is a blind belief. The emotion of love, trust, attraction, care leads to a blind belief, trust over the other party. And when you have a blind belief on the other person, naturally the emotions leads to physical relationship. And there are a lot of practical difficulties in having the physical relationship, so the teenagers resorted to technology. Now here, the technology and the physical relationship are the problem in the eyes of law. So what happens with the technology is the teenagers, the partners in love, they start exchanging nude pictures. Sometimes they keep the the love making act or the physical act as a souvenir. They record it and keep it as a souvenir. And here starts the problem. So once the stage 1 is passed, stage 2 and 3 is almost is similar. Blind belief continues, physical relationship and use of technology continues. The only difference is the demands keep increasing. In place of voluntariness, there is more of obedience. You try to agree to other person's demand because you don't want to hurt other person rather than doing it voluntarily. And the frequency increases and adventure actually deepens. The videos become more and more adventurous, pictures becomes more and more adventurous. So this is where the problem arises. So when these acts are committed, the teenagers are under the impression that they are creating a private document, a data which is for private consumption. It may not happen so. The physical relationship can lead to litigations, but many of the teenagers feel that how it can lead to litigation, because who is going to report to the police? You must be aware about the fact that police can investigate at the information, need not be a complaint. So the one of the most commonly quoted cases are Romeo Juliet cases. It's a terminology used in USA, where the two teenagers voluntarily have a physical relationship, but they end up in the court. And why they end up in the court? One of them are reporting it to the court, or the family members are reporting it to the court, or the police is coming across with information about such physical relationship. In this Romeo Juliet case, there is a no force, there is no physical threat. It's pure physical relationship as any other relationship that you can see in the world. But Romeo Juliet cases are in violation of law. So how it violates the law? For every physical relationship, the primary requirement is consent, that to be a free consent. So free consent is absence of any kind of coercion, influence, force. So all those should be absent. The problem is child is incapable of giving consent. So the law declares and it agrees that the child cannot give a valid free consent. So when child cannot give a consent, so that means the consensual sexual relationship is without consent. And especially a child is a person below the age of 18. So when there is a relationship between girl and a child, a boy child and a girl child, it's again a relationship without free consent because they cannot give a consent. It's again, in eyes of law, it's not a valid physical relationship. Similarly, girl child and adult man. Now this is the most common problem that you can see. 17-year-old girl having a relationship with a 19-year-old boy. It is a gap of 1.5 years, maximum 2 years. But in the eyes of law, it's a relationship between a child and an adult, because boy is above 18 and girl is below 18. So this kind of relationship is the major Romeo Juliet cases where a boy ends up in a jail because he is adult. The arguments that she knew what she was doing, she is matured enough to understand, she volunteered or she forced, all these arguments don't stand in the eyes of the law. And the most common argument that I have heard in the court is she misrepresented her age. The man believed that she being above age of 18. But that argument also court don't accept, because the law is clear: a person below age of 18 cannot give consent. On the other side, adult woman and a boy child. Now this is again a violation, but it won't result into a rape, because a rape is a gender sensitive offense and gender specific offense, and only girl or woman can be raped. So boy child won't be brought under rape provision, but he would be brought under sexual assault. And the last one is adult female and adult male, and this is the only relationship which is valid according to law. Anybody above age of 18 can have a physical relationship if and only if both are getting free consent. Again, this rule is subjected to marriage laws, because in marriage laws there are certain relationships which are prohibited. So all these activities what I mentioned leads are discussed under POCSO Act, that is Prevention of Child of Sexual Abuse Act, where a child is protected against sexual abuse. And the kind of offenses that are committed in this are two: penetrative sexual assault and sexual assault. And similarly, there is a provision in Indian Penal Code, that is, it's a rape. Coming to the next discussion, that is the discussion of creating data and videos, and the pictures that is being taken for the consumption of the other party only can go public. This possibility do exist. Not necessarily the other party is offender and he deliberately distributed it. That may not happen in all the places, but that cannot be ruled out also. The other party can deliberately distribute for commercial purpose, and that's called as pornography. You also must have understood that many of the app ask for access to all the videos and the photographs in your mobile, and that again can be a potential leak. So in this world of information technology, the best way to keep data safe is not to create a data. So therefore, pornography is one major problem which the teenage affair faces, and that gets viral, and that again leads to violation of many law. Pornography itself is an offense under POCSO Act, and using the pictures without permission, without exchange of nude pictures without their permission is again a violation in IPC. And another problem would be revenge porn. So when the affair reaches the third stage, in this third stage there is a jealousy, there is anger, and there is a feeling of hurt, and along with that the natural outcome of all this would be a feeling to take revenge. And the revenge porn is making these data which is available with the person public in the form of revenge. So pornography is using the nude pictures and the sexual act for commercial purposes. Revenge porn is for to malign the reputation of the other party. Whatever may be the object behind this, the fact is that there is a damage to the reputation of a person. So this is very much avoidable provided you don't create a database. Eloping with other partner, this is another common problem with the teenage love affair. The place where I am from, this problem do not exist, because mostly the people agree, the family members agree for the relationship generally, but this is a problem in the rest of India. So here there are two things: so the eloping with a minor, that is a girl of 17-year-old or boy of 16-year-old, and eloping after reaching the age of majority, say maybe 19, 20. Now in both the cases it is an offense. In one place it will be treated as kidnapping, and a person can be charged for kidnapping other case is abduction, and in both are punishable under Indian Penal Code. So basically there are important do's and don'ts, that is the total outcome of this present video. And the first thing that under the do's and don'ts is don't violate the legal age, because none of your arguments or none of your explanations are valid in the court of law. So you may end up in a jail for violating the legal age. So therefore 18 is the legal age, and that's the Lakshman Rekha. If you are on the other side of the Lakshman Rekha, exercise restraint, wait for the time. Trust, yes, leads to many adventurous acts, exchange of pictures. It leads to risk, and the risk leads to vulnerability. And it's not to live a vulnerable life. So therefore don't create any pictures, don't exchange any nude pictures. Even video calls can be recorded, and the video calls, yes, you can call, you can see the other party, you can discuss, you can talk. Emotional talk is always welcome, but exchange of these things it is a very vulnerable act. Avoid recording private acts at all cost. So private act is for private person, for your personal thing, so don't record it, and there are high chances that it may go public. And the last, please, all of you, remember that have patience in all relations, because they mature slowly. Thank you very much for watching my video, and do like, share, comment and subscribe, and press the bell icon. Thank you very much.